Hello! Welcome back, third graders. This is video 2 for week 8, where we are focusing on different phrases for the novel. So let's get started. So what are we doing in this video? This is for us to focus on difficult phrases from the novel, and this is for cultural fluency. By becoming familiarized with different slang and colloquialisms, which means different phrases, students, you will be able to relate to the novel and use these phrases to show and convey your ideas more precisely in real life. So not only will you be able to understand what the book is saying better, you can now use these phrases when you speak with your friends. Okay, so today we'll be going over chapters 5 and 6. So please make sure that you have your Bunnicula novel out. If you don't have it right now, please go and get it. For those who are ready, let's turn to page 54. 54. This is the second page of chapter 5. Chapter 5 is titled Chester Goes into His Act. So here, we have now seen all of these white vegetables on the kitchen table. Okay, so let's go on the top of page 54. It says, by now the excitement in the kitchen was at full throttle. The table was covered with Bunnicula's handiwork. There were white beans and white peas and white squash and white tomatoes and white lettuce and white zucchini. So here, what does the phrase full throttle mean? Full throttle. How can the kitchen be at full throttle? So imagine you're riding a bike or driving a car, but I know that you guys are too young. But you know how you can make it go faster by pressing the pedals or pushing down on the gas pedal really hard? So you're pedaling really fast, or maybe your parents are pressing the gas pedal. Well, when you do that, that means you're going full throttle. It means that you're going as fast as you can, giving it all the power that you can go and move as quickly as possible. But here, in this quote, it's not saying that we're going somewhere. This means to describe the level of excitement in the kitchen because we've just seen all of these white vegetables. So think of it like this. They just saw all the white vegetables that Bunnicula left on the table. So the whole family is really curious, excited, and it's full of chaos. That's when you can say that the excitement is at full throttle, and it means that everyone is really excited about something. But where does this phrase come from? It actually comes from machines like cars, motorcycles, and airplanes. Let's see my picture here. So as you can see in this picture, the motorcyclist is going really fast, right? These vehicles have something called a throttle, which controls how the gas and everything can go into the engine. So when you push the throttle all the way, you give it your full throttle, meaning you give it all that you can get. So here in the novel Bunnicula, it's saying that the whole atmosphere in the kitchen during this morning is at full throttle. Like it's high tension. Everyone's like, why is there so many white vegetables on the table? Where is it from? And people are confused. Okay? So everyone say full throttle. Full throttle. Good job. So here, they're all like really excited. Let's go to page 55, which is the next page right over. Let's see. In the middle, I highlighted it here. Now they're like, why are the vegetables so white? In the beginning it says, what about that friend of yours in the agricultural department? Oh, Tom Cragen. Could we call him and ask him if we're doing something wrong? And then Peter comes in and says, here in this quote, it's DDT, Mom, Peter interjected. I know about this stuff. It's because you buy vegetables that aren't organic. So, DDT. And this, if you really didn't look it up, you would have not known at all and you would have just skipped through it. But good thing I'm here to help you understand. So what is DDT? DDT is a type of chemical that used to be used, so a long time ago, to kill insects that might harm crops like vegetables. It's like a special spray that farmers would use to keep bugs away from their plants. But the thing is, DDT was found to be really harmful a long time ago, not only to bugs and insects, but also to animals and humans. So now we don't use it. So in this quote, Peter is saying that the vegetables are turning white because of some kind of chemical called, yes, DDT. He thinks that it might be because she bought vegetables that weren't grown organically. Oh, remember our word organic from the vocabulary video? If you haven't watched yet, please go to week 8 and watch the vocabulary video also. Here, when vegetables are grown organically, it means that they're grown without using chemicals like DDT. So Peter is worried that the vegetables are all turning white because of this chemical DDT. But his mom's like, that's not it. So if you look at this picture here, there's this man spraying this harmful chemical. But this picture isn't really DDT. I just took a picture of a different type of chemical. So now, this is a really funny part. Let's go to page 56. Now, this is Harold, and it says, "But I lost track of him listening to all that talk about DDT. I just hope they didn't use any of that stuff where they grew chocolate cupcakes." So, the reason why I chose this quote is because, one, it's funny, so we should have a funny quote too, right? I think so too. And here, Harold is saying that he wishes and hopes that they do not use DDT, this chemical, on a place where they grow chocolate cupcakes. Now, everyone, do these types of chocolate cupcakes grow on trees or in a farm? No. But Harold thinks that they grow on a tree or on a farm. And so he's hoping that wherever this tree that grows chocolate cupcakes is from doesn't have DDT used on them. This chemical. It's quite funny. Everyone still following along? Give me a thumbs up. Good. Now let's go to page 59. Oh, my book was upside down. Page 59. At the very top. So here, Chester just did his whole act of, pretending to be a vampire. If you didn't understand that part, please read back. He's pretending to be a vampire with, Mr. Monroe's towel over his neck, or tied around his neck. On the page, on top of page 59, it says, he, which means Chester, he looked at me, which is Harold, he looked at me and smiled. I sensed I was not going to like what he had in mind. I was toying with the notion of slinking under the table when Chester fixed me with his eyes. There's a lot of different sayings here that we may not know. But first, let's go with what is highlighted, which is, I was toying with the notion. Toying? That means playing? Toying with the notion means that someone is thinking about or considering an idea, but they're not completely sure about it yet. It's like when you're playing with a toy, here, and you're not fully committed. You're like, oh, should I play with this toy? Should I play with that toy? I'm not quite sure. And you're just trying to see which one you like. So here, that means Harold is debating, he's thinking, he's toying with the idea, the notion, if he should run away from Chester. And it says slink under the table, which means just hide under the table, because Chester fixed him with his eyes. He's like, big scary eyes on Harold. So basically he's like, Should I run away from him? Should I just sit here? What should I do? Is what Harold is trying to say on page 59. Awesome. Keep it up, everyone. You guys are doing great. On the same page, 59, let me click here. Now, we're coming from what Chester is saying. Chester just did his whole act in front of the Monroes with the towel around his neck, pretending to be a vampire, getting up and everything like a vampire with his arms spread out. But the Monroes are like, oh, Chester, are you cold? Are you feeling sick? Right? So here it says, oh, it doesn't matter anyway, Harold. They don't understand. They meaning the Monroes. How can human beings read the same books I do and still be so thick? So what does it mean to be thick? Chester is using the word thick here to describe the Monroes who don't seem to understand and comprehend the ideas or messages that he's trying to portray through his actions from what they have read in the books. So thick here doesn't mean like their physical size of being bigger and thicker. Instead, it's a way of saying that some people may have a hard time understanding the things that they read in books. It's like calling them a bit slow to understand, and they're not really sure what's happening. So after this whole act that Chester just did for them, he's like, oh, they don't get it. They're so thick. Meaning, maybe their head and their brain is so thick that their brain isn't working. It's not a very nice thing to say. This one. Page 65. Are you on page 65? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Good. Page 65. Oh my. Here, this is when Chester is going a bit crazy with the garlic and putting garlic all over the kitchen. He made a garlic something I'll tell you later. And he's trying to put garlic on Harold. Let's read the quote first. "Oh, Chester," I said as my nose suddenly and involuntarily closed. "I'd be living this room right now." And I did. What does this mean here? Did the book have a spelling mistake? I be leaving this rube right now. What does this mean? Here, Harold is talking to Chester, but he's having difficulty speaking because his nose suddenly became stuffy and blocked. That's why they said, my nose suddenly and involuntarily closed, meaning not on purpose, it just did it by itself, it closed. But why did Harold's nose become all stuffy? Yes, like I just said, because of the garlic pendant necklace that Chester put on him. What does pendant mean? Oh, good. If you're unable to answer, please, again, week 8 vocab video. So when your nose is stuffy, it can make it hard to talk clearly because your voice sounds different. So think about when you had a cold or a flu and your nose is really stuffy. You start talking like this and your regular voice is kind of weird, right? So here, when he's saying, I be leaving this room right now, pretend he's talking like this. And he really means, I'll be leaving this room right now. But because of their stuffy nose and that it closed, their words come out sounding a bit funny and muffled. Muffled. Remember what muffled means? So here is just pretending that you have a cold and your nose is all stuffy or you can't speak correctly. Good. High five. Good. Just making sure you're paying attention. Many, many quotes. Let's go to page 72. I'm here. Are you there? Good. So now let me read from the very beginning of page 72. Chester ignored me. I pulled, he pushed, I felt something go pop. We all fell in a jumble. Chester, the cage, Bunnicula, and me. When I looked around, Bunnicula was lying next to me, still sound asleep. And here's the quote. There you are, I said. We got him out. Now let's eat. No dice, Chester said. Just read this to me so I'll be sure I'm doing it right. And he handed me a book. That book again. So here, what is he trying to eat? Yes, the steak, the delicious sirloin steak that they had, that the Monroes had put out to defrost on the table. In this quote, Chester says no dice, which is highlighted up there. He's using an idiom, no dice, meaning that something is not going to happen or not going to work out the way that someone wants it to. So in this context, in this part of the book, Chester is refusing the idea to eat the steak and is instead telling Harold, hey, read this book to me. Meaning that eating right now is not an option and will not happen. But where did this come from? Why is Chester using this idiom? The origin of the idiom no dice is believed, so not 100% sure, to come from when people were playing card games with dice. So here, it means no for no dice. And we're talking about these type of dice. So people who used to play games with this before. So when someone rolls a dice in a game, they hope to get like some kind of number. But then if they didn't get the number that they wanted, they would say no dice, meaning the roll didn't come with the number that they wanted. And then over time, it stops just being used for playing cards. And now it's used in everyday language to just say no or refuse someone. No dice. So if you ask your mom, Mom, can we go to the ice cream store? And then she says, sorry, no dice. Meaning, nope, no ice cream. Try using it when someone asks you something and you want to refuse them. I believe this is the last quote here. So it's the same page on page 72. And this quote here, or this whole part of the novel, is a very important part. So I'm 100% sure that your teacher will probably review it in class. But if you're absent or maybe you weren't paying attention, I just wanted to bring it back to your attention again today. Or if watching this video before class, you can participate more and raise your hand when the teacher is talking about it. Okay? So let's read on page 72 at the bottom. Why don't you read and I'll hold the steak? Chester replied. I took it to mean that I was to start reading. So Harold starts reading here in this quote. To destroy the vampire and end its reign of terror, it is necessary to pound a sharp stake. Chester interrupted. A sharp stake? He asked. What does that mean? And then let me read a little bit more for you. I'll taste it and tell you if it's sharp, I offered as Harold said. Oh, never mind, this will do. It's sirloin. Keep reading. To pound a sharp stake into the vampire's heart. This must be done, on top of page 73. This must be done during the daylight hours when the vampire has no powers. Let's look at what's highlighted up here. Steak and steak. But are they the same word? Is this another typo that the book has? No dice. Here, they are two different words, and let me explain. In the quote, Chester's confused because he misheard or misunderstood a word because of the similar pronunciation. The first one is steak. The second one is also steak. So he hears sharp steak, as in the food. But both words are homonyms. Everyone say homonyms. Homonyms. What are homonyms? This is a figurative technical speech or type of words, which means that words sound alike, they have the same pronunciation, but they have very different meanings. So this confusion that Chester is having is quite funny because they sound very similar when spoken aloud. So first, sharp stake, the first one, is a pointed piece of wood or other material to put into the heart of a vampire to kill them, according to the book that Harold is reading. But we also have the second stake here, which I think everyone knows. This! Yum! I'm getting hungry already just looking at the picture. This steak is a piece of meat that you eat, and it has nothing to do with vampires. So imagine here. They have this steak, this food, this meat, and they put it on top of Bunnicula. Is that going to do anything to Bunnicula? No. So Chester's confusion here adds humor. It's funny to the situation because they thought this food steak was going to kill Bunnicula. But it didn't, and the Monroes came in to the house. And you can read the rest of the chapter to figure out what happens next. So those were the different phrases from the novel that we had chosen to help you understand. Let's go from the very beginning again to very quickly review. Full throttle, meaning a lot of excitement, high tension at the highest level. DDT is a type of chemical that was used to kill insects and bugs from plants and farms and crops. But now it is not because it's very harmful. Here, Harold thought that chocolate cupcakes grew on trees and hopes that there is no DDT on them. Silly Harold. I was toying with the notion, meaning I was debating, I was thinking about it, but I wasn't quite sure. Be so thick, meaning how can someone not understand? Why are they so slow to understand what's happening? Be so thick. Everyone close your nose with me and read this with me. I'd be leaving this room right now. Which means I'll be leaving this room right now. Because his nose was all stuffy. No dice, meaning no, not a chance. Refused. Cut down. Last one are homonyms, steak, which is this piece of wood, and also the bottom steak, which is this delicious piece of meat. So I hope this session had helped you understand some of the phrases in the novel for chapters 5 through 6. Now it is your turn, right? We must self-study and review. So go ahead and review this video again. And if you would like, since we have some time, why don't you read chapters 5 and 6? Because there are only 2 chapters for homework. Thank you for joining me again this week for week 8. Can't wait to see you guys next week for week 9. And I'll see you guys then. Bye. Thank you.